got some great news for ESPN and Major League Baseball. They have struck a 7-year extension, which lasts through the year 2028, which is a pretty long time, Mario. We've also talked about other extensions with other leagues such as the NHL, and the NFL. So they're giving up their extensions now for other leagues while they still can, which is pretty good for them, given that they're the world's biggest sports provider. So basically, what's going to end up happening here, Mario? The network's going to be carrying 30 regular season games per year, plus the wild card games, which are playoff games. The deal again, it runs through 2028. ESPN will broadcast 25 weeks of Sunday night baseball, which is something they already do. They'll also be broadcasting the MLB Little League Classic, which is a very fun series by the MLB. I absolutely enjoy loving while watching that. They'll also host an opening night game and will host a home run derby, which is the event that's before the All Star game, which is hosted by Fox. They'll also showcase alternate versions of the game like Statcast, which is on ESPN2 if you still watch that. And all telecasts will be exclusive. So going back to the wild card thing, Mario, they already host two wild card games for the playoffs. It's not expanded. It's not an expanded playoffs. I'm pretty sure we've talked about that this year. But in 2022, if MLB decides to expand the wild card series to 8 of them, like they did last year in the shortened season, ESPN would carry the entire wild card series. But if they do not decide to do that, then they'll just get 8 more regular season games exclusively to make up for it. In addition to this, ESPN is also going to be creating new MLB content like highlight-driven programming for ESPN Plus, which I think is pretty cool. And ESPN Plus is ESPN's streaming service, basically to fit into the modern era. They'll also be broadcasting a game pretty much every single day on ESPN Plus, which is subjected to local blackout restrictions. So basically, I get this a lot from my friends. And in case if you guys don't know what this means, so get this. So I live in New England. Mario, when he comes home, he lives in New England. We watch the Red Sox. That's our team. But we already have a local channel that broadcasts the Red Sox called Nesson. So we if we decide to watch it on another streaming service like MLB TV, we can't do that because we already have our local service. So that's basically what that means. If you have a local service that does it for you, it's not going to show you the game. So that's basically what that means. In addition to all this, ESPN Radio will continue to carry the regular season game and the full MLB postseason, including the World Series. So if you still do listen to the radio, that is something you might be interested in. And Spanish language rights will also be a thing for ESPN Deporte. So if you're not an English speaker but you speak Spanish, that's also something you're interested in. And I have a quote from James Vitaro, who is the chairman of ESPN and sports content. He says, and I quote, ESPN's long-standing relationship with Major League Baseball has been a driver of innovation for 3 decades, which is a pretty long time. This agreement solidifies baseball's ubiquitous presence across ESPN's platforms, including ESPN Plus. The impactful collection of exclusive content, including Sunday Night Baseball, which has served as a signature MLB series for more than 30 years, will be amplified by the surrounding rights we have to make these live events even bigger. Um, and I also have a quote from Rob Manfred, who is the MLB commissioner. He says, and I quote, ESPN has been one of MLB's longest and most important partners. This extension continues the evolution of our relationship with the focus of utilizing ESPN's extensive asset to shine a spotlight on key matchups throughout the year. And before I pass on to you, Mario, obviously the source of this is ESPN. It would be pretty wrong for us not to use ESPN for this one. So I'll let you start off first. What do you think of the deal made by ESPN and MLB?
Well, first of all, before I get to the deal, can you imagine us giving you the story from like Fox?
That'd be pretty funny.
It'd be pretty funny. But let's get to the deal, Nate. First of all, congratulations to ESPN and the MLB for signing this extension, especially through 2028. They're going to have this, they're going to be connected and they're going to be partners for a long time. And they've been partners for a long time. Like you said, 3 decades. Yeah, I do like the fact that they're going to be getting a lot more MLB games on ESPN channels. They're going to be putting a lot more MLB content on the apps because let's be honest, Nate, I think the MLB deserves this because their revenue has gone down in recent years. And I think, or their viewership as well has gone down in recent years. And I think this could definitely help by far because like you said, ESPN is the flagship show. Um, so yeah, first of all, the MLB, honestly, Nate, me and you were both big fans of the MLB, but I think the MLB is really going to start creating an uprise. They made a couple moves that are really going to help. For instance, one of them is the fact that Ken Griffey Jr. has now taken and took an advisor role for MLB. So I think he'll really help in building the MLB. And then when you really look at it, Nate, just the new players that are coming, just they're turning into more modern players. The Mookie Betts, and we got the Fernando Tatis Juniors, which, by the way, I think Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to be the future of this league, and I think that'll be the perfect guy to represent it because he is a more modern superstar for this league. So I really do think the MLB is really creating an uprise. I think the MLB is getting more exciting with the new talent that they have, and ESPN showing more games, Nate. It's just going to make it even better. It really is. It's just going to give them more viewership. It's just going to give them more revenue and everything like that. Now, regarding all the information that you talked about, Nate, regarding the home run derby, the home run derby has been on ESPN for a very, very long time. The one thing that I wanted to see the ESPN do, though, however, is get the All Star game. That's the one thing I wanted to see them do. Um,
Right, because
again,
that's done by Fox, which also does the World Series.
right, and that's the thing though, because I feel I want ESPN to get that. You know what I'm saying? But most likely they won't, and the reason why is because when you really look at it, Joe Buck does it every single year, and I think Joe Buck does a good job with the World Series. People could say otherwise. People could say he's a Yankee lover. It doesn't matter. I think he does a good job with the World Series every year. Um, but when you really look at all the other stuff they have done within this deal, they're going to show alternate versions of the game, allowing them to show some games on or most games on ESPN Plus so that it doesn't get blacked out. If we go to the MLB app, that's really smart of them too, which I think will create more viewership for ESPN, considering the fact that so many people have ESPN Plus now. Um, Now going to the part that you talked about, if 2022 they decide to use the eighth series, then the MLB will pick up the wild card series. I think that'll definitely help them. And the reason why is because if they can get enough excitement from the wild card series, I think that could definitely shift momentum towards the MLB. However, here's the problem though, Nate. They're not getting the entire playoffs. They're only getting that wild card series. Am I correct? Which means
Yeah,
ESPN may not even know about it. But if people start drawing attention to the wild card series and they start drawing more attention to the MLB, they're going to start going to other programs to go
yeah,
watch
because
those games.
like I mentioned before, Fox does the World Series and they do some of the division and championship series, and then TBS does it as well before until the World Series comes out. Is
Right. But obviously, like when you go into the ALCS and the ALDS and all and those series right there, those I believe are still Fox, correct? And like TBS and a bunch of other channels.
it depends. Usually it's like every year, like 1 year American League Championship Series will be like Fox, and then like nationally will be TBS, and then they switch it the next year. And then
Right.
same thing with the division series. It really just depends because there's just
Right. And that
differences
right there,
between each.
and that, right. And that right there could be what hurts ESPN because they don't have those games. Which, by the way, I think the ESPN should have tried to negotiate those types of games, even if they weren't allowed to get like the World Series, due to the fact that like Joe Buck is there and they have a Fox broadcast always doing it. Even though they couldn't get the World Series, I think they should have at least tried to get a little bit more playoff games. At least get like whether it's the ALDS or the NLDS, at least get one league, for like another series. But I mean, regardless, though, this is a pretty good deal for ESPN and the MLB. I'm glad that they're going to stay partners. I'm glad that they're staying loyal to each other. And again, ESPN is the flagship show. You want more viewership to your sport. That's where you go right there. And I'm glad that they're also going to be streaming more games for the MLB on ESPN too as well. I think that's definitely going to help them. But look, man, it's only a matter of time too. In the future, a lot of games aren't even going to be on channels no more. It's just going to be apps and live stream services and subscriptions. Like we talked about Peacock a lot and how they're really getting involved in sports. So it's only a matter of time, Nate. It really is. But as of now, I think cable obviously this it's really declining. People are turning to those apps and everything. But I think cable is still an option. So with that being said, I think the ESPN and MLB deal, I think it really is a dub for both sides. ESPN, it could hurt them a little bit considering the fact that if they gain more viewership for the MLB, they could go to other networks to continue watching it. But other than that, though, I think ESPN and MLB really did create a big W for both sides. So with that being said, I wish ESPN and MLB the best of luck in their agreement and their extension, and we'll see how it plays out throughout 2028.
Right, best of luck to ESPN and MLB. Yeah, Mario, I wanna point over to the streaming service part of it, and a lot of people probably gonna be asking and criticizing it. It's like, oh, why do it on ESPN Plus? Because like Mario just mentioned, cable is declining very, very badly, and it's
Right.
like, oh, you're going to be paying absurd amounts of money for it. You already pay absurd amounts of money for cable, so what's the damn difference? It's
Right.
just on a different app. So
Right. And then
and obviously the biggest leading or at least I think the biggest leading streaming service is Netflix. Obviously, basically everybody has Netflix at this point. You know what I mean?
right.
Then it's followed up by things like Hulu and Disney Plus. Which, by the way, if you get
Right.
ESPN Plus, I'm pretty sure if you get like the highest subscription of ESPN Plus, you get Disney Plus with it as well. Because again,
Right. And going
Walt Disney is owned by ESPN.
Right, and going to what you said about Netflix, though, think about how many shows pop up on Netflix and how, and all of a sudden they turn into hits. Think
Right.
about like Stranger Things. Think about like 13 Reasons Why when that first came out. Think about um Outer Banks is another one
Cobra
too. All
Kai.
American,
Cobra Kai is another one.
Cobra Kai. Think about all these shows that are hit you. Think about all these shows that are hit shows on Netflix. Why? Because everybody almost has Netflix. And
And they
like Nate
make
said,
quality
when people
content.
right. And like Nate said, when people ask, well, why are you going to pay an insane amount of money? Well, it's only a matter of time until you ditch cable and just pay the amount that you're going to be paying for ESPN Plus anyway.
Right.
It's only a
Absolutely.
matter of time. Now, again, here's the one thing about ESPN Plus, Nate. And let me talk to you about this for a second. Their pay-per-view thing. So this is what really confuses me about ESPN Plus. I
Yeah,
want to know what they're going to
they have a very
post
interesting
pay-per-view,
situation.
post cable. Like once our lives get to post cable, I want to see what they do with that, because if you get ESPN Plus, you're not getting the event for free. You're just getting it cut in half, basically. I tried doing that when I tried getting ESPN Plus and doing that for like a UFC fight. They make you pay $30 instead of 60. I want to see what they do when almost nobody's using cable. I want to see how that's going to change, but that's time and time from now on. But it's only a matter of time till it gets till it gets to streaming services, Nate.
Right, absolutely. And again, other leagues do their own streaming service. Like I said, ESPN Plus does it, and like I said, if you get the highest version of ESPN Plus, you can get Disney Plus with it as well because Walt Disney owns ESPN, so it would make sense as to why they would do that. Um, then you got things like Fox. I'm pretty sure Fox has their own streaming service, and you got Peacock, which is owned by NBC. They're doing WWE right now. And they're doing some NFL games, which is pretty cool. Same thing with Paramount Plus, which is owned by CBS, and CBS, as we all know, does
And
NFL,
even, and even
and they
like
also
Twitch, and even
well,
Twitch as well. They're getting
Twitch,
involved.
yeah, the gaming service, yeah, the game streaming service is doing that as well. The Twitch, Amazon's doing it, and going back to the Paramount Plus, they also do things like the Premier League. They do a lot of soccer on there as well. I've seen that on there. So yeah, pretty much, when you really look at it, we're in a new modern era. Everybody's got smartphones and smart TVs. I have one in my room right next to me. Um, that's just the standard these days. Almost nobody does cable anymore. We're just moving into a whole new era of the world. You can thank technology for that. But other than that, Mario, yeah, absolutely. Going back to the playoff thing, yeah, I think they should have struck in a deal. TBS is an interesting one, and the reason why is because they don't do regular season games; they just do playoff games. And I also find, I'm pretty sure you've mentioned this before, but it's definitely one of it's not a dumb decision, but it's definitely an odd one. I'll say that for sure. It's definitely strange. Um, but yeah, other than that, I'm pretty sure with the playoff situation, they can negotiate that throughout time. So we'll see what happens with that moving forward. But other than that, I got no complaints about this. I like what's going on here. So with that being said, best of luck to MLB, best of luck to ESPN, and we'll see what happens moving forward.